this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no one.
a second.
Oh, no.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching SeptumSin versus the world. I'm SeptumSin. This is That's Kotobuki Jake.
Yeah.
Show you what we got.
Yes, I suppose.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
So Jake's got apparently a really big one going at the end, so we'll see if it's as big as what I got.
We will find out.
Since he wanted to hold his big one for the end, I guess I'll have to show off my big one for the beginning. Start big and big.
Yeah.
So, David Sterling has been known for box sets, as we know. And he has released another box set, one I have been waiting for because it's cool. And that is the Things collection.
Oh, and that's
And let me go ahead and there we go. There you can see the full thing. Now that is pretty impressive. Most of y'all got to see me hold up this one and the Camp Blood one in the photo. And we'll see what Jake takes a picture of to show us off on this one. But look at the artwork. This is what you get the boxes for, is because the artwork is really good. A lot of these.
Yeah, that's kind of nice.
Look at that. That is cool.
Yeah.
Now, for those, it says here, of course, creatures created by the evil of men. So, this series is hit or miss for me, and there is a review I have for all of the films. There are a number of them. There are 5, actually, and a new one that's come out. And most of them are in this set, but as you can see, there's always room for expansion, as there are with most of his box sets, except for one. I'll be talking about that in a moment. But I'm going to show you what's included in this box set, and tell you what's not included so that you know in case you want to buy it. So, first off, for the first time on Blu-ray, is the original Things, which is an anthology horror about like some horror creatures. Very cool. This film is incredibly good as far as a horror anthology goes. I really liked it. It did a great job. Awesome film. So, next up, you'll see a bit of a issue. Because what comes after 1 typically? What number usually comes after 1?
5.
Exactly. But it doesn't come that way. It's Things 3. Now, this is really one of the main reasons I wanted to buy this. The original one was Deadly Tales. They released it under a different name, and Sterling kind of lost the ability to distribute. But now he had the ability again and has Things 3. And this one is a really cool one. I'm glad to finally have it under its old name released. It feels good to be a part of the collection, which is really awesome. And it is also one of the better films in the series. The first 3 films are probably the best films.
This is, so you skipped from 1 to 3. This isn't another Thanksgiving thing where they went and destroyed the...
This is things too. It's
Okay.
odd because I was told they kind of lost the ability to distribute this, similar to 3, I guess.
Hmm.
But this is a sterling release of 2.
Hmm.
I even have his name on the back of it.
Right.
And this one is really good. All 3 of them are good. I really wish that he had put this in the set. It bothers me that there's no Blu-ray release of this.
Hmm.
Hopefully he'll regain whatever it is he lost on it and put it back on Blu-ray.
Mhm.
Then we can add it to the set and it'll be complete. Then there is Things 4, which is all right.
Hmm.
It's sort of an attempt to reboot the trilogy because there's been a number of years afterwards.
Mhm.
It's okay. It's decent. There are worse movies out there.
Right.
I think it does have Cool Duder in it, I believe.
Oh.
Yep. It says starring Sean C. Phillips, which, no, it's not. He kind of has a cameo in it.
Hmm.
Then we have Things 5. And oh my God, this went off the rails. This is not a good movie. There's a lot of shower scenes.
Ooh.
I'd say about 50% of the movie is shower scenes.
Hmm.
So, maybe that's what, if you really like that, if that's like your main reason, and I've seen better Joe Sherlock films. I've seen a lot better from Joe Sherlock than that. But I guess we're going to see what's going to come from Joe Sherlock's work, because we also have another one on here, which I guess they decided to replace Things 2 with Things 2.
Creepy, creepy.
Yes, Sexy Women, Dirty Things.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes. I'm not going to hold out high hopes, but at the same time, Camp Blood had a really terrible run and then ended up coming back with an amazing film in Camp Blood 666. So Things could do that as well. But the artwork alone is worth it. It's good to have Things 3 in here. I'm sure eventually he'll be able to get Things 2 back and get it on Blu-ray, and we'll have it then. And until then, this one's just going to kind of sit out in my collection.
Right.
And who knows when it'll get a release.
Well, you got it at least.
Yes, I do have it.
All right. So I'm going to start off with something that's, I guess, a bit of a rarity, but nothing like that in terms of rarities. I mentioned, I believe it was last week, that I presented the 3 DVDs I got from the dollar store, Dollar Tree. I also picked up on that trip 9 Blu-rays, which is an unusually large number for Dollar Tree. And I'm going to start off with those. And the first one is a movie that I was aware of and was vaguely curious about. It's a Magnolia release for $1 on Blu-ray, so how could I say no? And that's a Steve Coogan release called Alan Partridge, where he plays a disc jockey named Alan Partridge. And I love this tagline: "Someone is trying to kill Alan. You'll wish it was you." But I like Coogan as an actor. He's pretty cool. And I've heard, I can't remember honestly what I heard about this, but like I said, Steve Coogan, Cole Meany, Magnolia release, so I know it's kind of rare in the wild. I figured it was worth picking up.
Let's see here. So my next one is going to be there, and I've got about 6 of those on this one. Dollar Tree. So they'll be at the end when you've got your spectacular one. I'll be talking about Dollar Tree. So most of y'all are familiar with this from my last pickup.
Yeah.
There's actually room for one more. This is probably, and by the way, if you're going to get any box set from Sterling, this is the one that is the best value. I mean, look at that. I mean, you might even be able to get him to throw on this next movie to add to it so that you've got it. Because this one actually does have every Camp Blood movie in it. Except for one. And why is that one not in it? Because it just came out. And that is Children of Camp Blood. Now, I really do like the Camp Blood series. Out of all the films, I only don't like 2 of them.
Mhm.
And out of those 2 do have some redeeming qualities, so I will watch them later on again just to check and see, okay, maybe there's something that I can get out of them. So we'll see. We will see. It might be that's how it goes, you know?
Mhm.
But I do like most of the films. Camp Blood is a fun series. I really want to just dive back in, and I have an excuse because now I have the entire thing on Blu-ray, except for Within the Woods, which was a split, really, from Sterling. But now this, we'll put that in here with the rest of these. And now I have a full Camp Blood box set.
Nice.
So the first time I filled one of these boxes up, and since a lot of these boxes, and keep in mind, there's 4 of these out. 2 of them, debatable whether you really want those or not. I like it for the box art, but there's only 2 movies in 2 of the boxes. These 2 right now are probably the 2 that have the most movies in them.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the series that he puts in that are worthy of the box set. Now, there are a couple that I think could be worth a box set from him. The Witchcraft series, because there's a crap ton of those movies. I love if he could get the earlier ones back into print, I would actually jump on that. But because he can't and they're way out of print, I don't bother with that series. And then there's his Ape movie series, which I'm sure he could easily put a box set out of that. There's a lot of those films.
Good deal.
So, you know, still got some fun box sets left he could produce.
So, next up, speaking of series, my next 3 films all have an interesting thing in common, which is that they're all sequels. And interestingly enough, the first one, I don't have the first film. The second one I have on DVD, so I may need to upgrade eventually. And the third one I already have on Blu-ray. So there's a nice little progression there. But now I have the sequels to all 3 on Blu-ray. And one of these is one I believe you presented last week. And that is the sequel to 2 Days in Paris, which is called 2 Days in New York.
Yep.
With Julie Delpy and Chris Rock. I am very curious about these movies. I want to see them. And now I really need to get 2 Days in Paris, another Magnolia release. And this is supposed to be quite good. I like Delpy and I like Rock. And you've also got some other folks. Oh, Dylan Baker. I know him. And Daniel Bruhl's in there. Interesting. And, this is directed by Julie Delpy? Interesting. Okay. So I definitely want to see these 2 movies. I just need to get the first one now. But I wasn't going to pass that up for a buck.
No, definitely not. Matter of fact, I'm sure we're going to see some overlap in our Dollar Tree pickups.
Right.
But there are some, like the horror sections, that I will probably pick up, and there's some probably on the more artsy side that you might pick up that I wouldn't. Like the Alan Partridge one, I almost did, but then it was loose in the case, and I was like, nah.
Yeah. I think there were 1 or 2 that I put back because of condition.
Yeah. So, speaking of Dollar Tree, I got a film called Boo.
Yeah, I saw that.
This one is trying to take itself seriously.
Okay.
Why? With a title like Boo? No. One night, a struggling family's true test arrives. A strange Halloween game left on their doorstep that, a legend has it, leaves a curse on those who choose not to play.
Yeah. It reminds me of a shock horror take on a ghost story.
Probably be more interesting than a ghost story from what I've
I
heard.
don't know. Ghost Story was interesting, but it was also boring. It was. I guarantee you need to watch it to see someone out Fellini. Anyway, one that I hope did not take itself quite so seriously. This was one that's a sequel. It's actually the only one of the three where I have seen the first film in the series, and I quite enjoyed it. I was actually a very big fan of Barbershop, and I picked up Barbershop: The Next Cut. You got Ice Cube, Cedric the Entertainer, Regina Hall, Anthony Anderson, Eve, JB Smoove, Common, and Nicki Minaj. And I have heard mixed things about this one. The first film is a classic. I enjoyed it immensely. I would like to see this one eventually, but again, I'm going to pass it up for $1.
I'd buy that for $1.
Exactly.
Let's say that a lot.
Yeah.
Speaking of $1, there's a BBC production called Blackwood.
Oh.
So, I try to pick up stuff from BBC just because it's there, and they have some interesting kind of wistful horror there. Ed Stuppard stars in the spine-tingling thriller where terrifying visions spiral into deep obsession that plagues college professor Ben Marshall. Having recently recovered from emotional breakdown, Ben relocates his family to the peaceful countryside of the Blackwood estate, where, upon arrival, he is plagued by visions of a murder he is convinced took place in the new home. All is not as it seems in this haunting tale of lies, betrayal, and murder. So,
All right.
it looks suitably haunting, but not like over-the-top slasher.
Right.
You might. This would be one I think you could at least put in the mech then, if not.
I would probably put that in a meh. Yeah, I'm curious. It might even be worth picking up for $1. I don't know.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know. Okay, next up, the third sequel is one that I actually do have the original on Blu-ray, and I just haven't gotten around to watching it. Partly because both of my brothers assure me that it's a comedy classic, and we were going to watch it together, and trying to watch stuff with both my brothers is worse than herding cats. So, I don't know. And that is Horrible Bosses 2, which stars, of course, Jason Bateman, Jason Sudeikis, and my youngest brother's boy, Charlie Day, along with Jennifer Aniston, Jamie Foxx, Chris Pine, Christoph Waltz, and the now disgraced Kevin Spacey. But, he's supposed to play a total asshole in these movies, so it may be appropriate. I really do want to watch these eventually. I feel like I heard the sequel was decent. The first one, of course, is probably better, but again, well worth getting for $1.
Well, my next one is not a Dollar Tree.
Oh.
It's a holiday pickup.
Oh.
I got it for $10.
Yeah.
It's one I'm not sure was worth $10. But I have the original, I have the remake, and this is the remake of that.
Uh-huh. The remake of the remake?
Black Christmas.
Ah.
Now, this had a lot of iffiness surrounding it. The director of it said this is the first slasher movie for women. Now, how should I say this? I watched this, by the way.
Yeah.
I actually tried to watch it with my wife, and then she's like, no, put on the other remake. If you're one of those people that really is into the kind of feminist movement of, we need to get rid of toxic masculinity, things that are good causes, by the way, but I mean really into it. This is a film that you will really like. If you are one of those more conservative of us, you're going to hate this. You're going to hate this.
Where do you fall on that?
I'm in the middle.
You thought it was pretty good?
I thought it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was okay.
It's
basically,
Blumhouse.
literally, the villain is toxic masculinity. As toxic masculinity, it literally is. They fight toxic masculinity.
Interesting.
But they beat it.
Okay.
And it's done relatively well. I like some of the scares that they have in it.
Mhm.
And so long as you can kind of move yourself away from the politics, which is really hard to do because they hit you over the head with it, with the megaton hammer. But still, there's a lot of good in this that you can actually enjoy. Don't expect the same thing as the other movies.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you really like the original remake.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it was okay. Did you see it?
I meant to. I ended up having to turn it. I got it from the library, and I ended up having to return it because I just wouldn't have time. Carrie Ellis is in that.
And you'd be able to watch it because it's.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were able to watch the original film, you'll be able to watch this very well. And you did watch the original.
Yeah, I did. It was quite good, actually.
I mean, the remake would be hard for you, but this one, I think you'd be able to do. I think you'd be okay with it. It's, like I say, it's a bit heavy on the politics, but otherwise, it's not bad. Not bad.
Right. So that's an interesting segue because speaking of toxic masculinity, my next film is directed by Casey Affleck, and I just presented one with Kevin Spacey. That's interesting. But this one was an avant-garde art piece that, as it unfolded, people weren't really sure what the hell was going on, and they ended up making a movie out of it. And that is the Joaquin Phoenix starring mockumentary I'm Still Here. Which was, if I remember correctly, I believe he announced he was giving up acting to be a rap star, wasn't it? Something like that. And he plays an out of control actor who commits. He went off the rails. People thought he went off the rails. He did this as a legit, actual thing, and Affleck caught it all on film. And I've been very curious about this one, and it has a lot of special features. So this was actually a pretty awesome pickup for $1, because I don't think I would have wanted to pay a lot more than that. I have no idea what I will make of this when I finally watch it, but I'm glad I got it.
I had picked it up if I had seen it there.
Yeah.
I went to $4 Dollar Trees, and 3 of them did have the movies. So we got another one. Now this one is a sequel. This is, I believe, the fourth movie in the series, and I've got the first 2, and I have the third. And I'm in no hurry to get the third. Maybe if it's in the same price range. That is Baby Geniuses and the Space Daddy. Space Baby, yes. The Space Baby. So, As a joke, people it used to be like, oh, you only like bad movies. Like, well, I don't only like bad movies, but I do appreciate a bad movie. And I almost went to the point of trying to say, well, I might as well make the goal of collecting all the Razzie winners, which I decided against eventually.
Probably for the best.
This was the series that people were like, yeah, you got to see both of these. And I've seen the original. I have not seen the sequel, Super Babies, but I have it because a friend gave me a double pack with both of them. So the only one left is, I think, the British one.
Right.
Where they kind of guard the crown jewels or something. So for $1, I'm willing to keep going with it and complete it. It's on my list to complete. Does that make it I guess that theoretically makes it a yes, please title because it's on my list of how to complete eventually. So, yes, please.
I can just hear the trailer for that one. Before there was Boss Baby.
God. I'm sure Boss Baby is a billion times better than that.
Oh man, it's sad that the first two were by Bob Clark. How do the mighty fall, man? Okay, so next up, we have a film that I was quite astonished to find at Dollar Tree. It's apparently somewhat rare in the wild, and it's our friend Dave's favorite film, supposedly. And you will find that we have covered it on Inside Movies Galore, so check out that discussion. That is the classic bit of highbrow art, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. But this actually has bonus features. Not bad, actually. This was, to get this for $1, I was like, yeah, I'll buy that for $1. It's a pretty bad film. I'm not really sure why it's Dave's favorite, but I did enjoy watching it. I will say that. I did enjoy it. It was worth getting for $1. I'll give it another go eventually. But this was one of the, every now and then you do find something where you're like, I genuinely can't believe I found that, man.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
cool.
if I didn't have it already, I would have definitely gotten in on that because it's a pretty cool movie.
Right.
I don't even know what I have it on. I have it on something, though.
Mm-hmm.
So my next one is a one I got from a Sentai sale, and that order came in today, actually.
Oh, very
They
nice.
still haven't bothered to ship the other order, and shoot, Right Stuff still has like a ton. The one that it is shipped is kind of lost somewhere.
I'm currently very concerned with them because they may have robbed me of something I ordered. We'll find out.
But the good thing is that most things that you have that say that they're delayed do eventually get there. They just don't get on the truck.
Yeah.
So this is the Votoms collection.
Oh, and that's
It's too good a deal to have passed up. It's
that one had
high.
had a crap ton of episodes, didn't it?
Yeah, like I say, under normal circumstances, what it went for, I think it was like 30 or something like that, is pretty high, but that's not really if you consider what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
It's 52 episodes of the TV, 39 OVA episodes, and 6 movies.
Nice.
Yeah, so you were literally getting the complete collection.
Yeah.
And this is a classic. It's an 80s classic one.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, to me, this is probably a worth it there for that price.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is one heck of a grouping.
Right.
I mean, I know that you had like mild, like, of this, just like I did, kind of.
I have little intrinsic interest in that, but the fact that it is an old series that probably influenced a lot of others and that you get so much in that package, yeah, I'd be curious.
All right.
All right. Now, speaking of gathering a bunch of stuff together, the next thing I got almost solely because of the cast that it brings together. I have never heard of this before. I know nothing about it. technically, I think this is a Canadian release because it has the French subtitling under the, which I'm usually not super stoked to get. But I saw this cast and I was like, and from the producer of Red and Salt, I've got the cast here: Noomi Rapace, Orlando Bloom, Michael Douglas, and John Malkovich. A film called Unlocked. I was like, that's worth a buck. It may be boring and tedious, but I loved Red and Salt was not bad. So I'll give it a go.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I have some interesting stuff here. This is the only other one on the Sentai sale before we go back to my last three are all Dollar Tree purchases. This one is Anonymous Noise.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I've seen this for a while, and I've been like, and then finally it came down enough that I'm like, okay. So 6 years ago, Momo taught Nino the joy of singing from her heart. When Momo's family moved away without warning, Nino found herself lost and adrift. Until she met Yuzu, who also had a musical gift that she shared with her until he was suddenly gone as well, leaving nothing but the memory of his music. Before they disappeared, both Momo and Yuzu said the same thing, that Nino should keep singing because that was how they that's how they'd find her again. But while Nino has kept singing and remembering how things were, Momo and Yuzu have changed. Now it may take a miracle to bring them back together when a triangle becomes more than a musical instrument, an anonymous noise. So I take it that's Yuzu and Momo there. But I don't know. I mean, it looks interesting. I like a lot of music-based anime. Have you seen this one yet? I'm thinking you
I
have
have not. No, well, I don't remember if I have it. I need to check because you're right. The price was a little high. I think I did get the first season and haven't gotten the second one yet. Or am I thinking? No, I'm thinking of Bang Dream.
Yeah, I was saying this one, I think it's only one season.
I think so. I can't remember if I have that, but it's on the list. It's one I want to get. I like you said, I like a lot of those music themed ones.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll like it fine once I watch it.
So my last two from the Dollar Tree have an interesting bit of synchronicity with one another. They're both Thai films, or at least if I'm reading this correctly, I think they're both Thai films. They're both Magnet/Magnolia releases. Like they've got Magnolia on the back, but they've got the Magnet logo elsewhere. So again, kind of a rare thing to find in the wild, but still pretty cool. And they're both films I never heard of before, and I have no idea what to make of them. But it'll still be good times. The first one is called Power Kids.
Power Kids.
It says there, Die Hard with Kick-Ass Kids. Isn't that fun? Pint-sized Woon and his older brother live at a Muay Thai school with a few other students. Suffering from a failing heart, Woon is hospitalized and in desperate need of a transplant. A viable heart becomes available, but the donated organ is locked up in a hospital that has been overtaken by a lethal terrorist faction. With only 4 hours to perform the surgery, Woon's brother and best friends, armed with Thai boxing skills and determination, race to the hospital to take on the terrorists and save his life. So this sounds to me, Die Hard a little bit, almost with shades of like maybe Only the Strong or Three Ninjas or something. But with a Muay Thai bent, I don't know what I will make of this, but I was like, I gotta get that. Especially in the wake of the raid, finding two Thai films there, I was like, okay, I've got to give that a go.
That's the thing with Dollar Tree. You never know what you're going to find.
Right.
Now, here's what I've seen at a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
And I eventually went ahead because it's a Magnolia release.
Right.
And this is A League of Ordinary Gentlemen.
I think I saw that too. Yeah.
I don't know. Something about it just got to, I was like, okay. Bowling through, though never the sport of kings, at one point in time occupied a perfectly respectable place in the pantheon of American sports. Then something happened. America ceased to embrace the PBA's image of bowling. In 2003, former Microsoft executives scooped up an entire apparatus of professional bowling to save it from the brink of extinction. The film focuses on Steve Miller, a former top Nike exec, and 4 professional bowlers at the very different place in their careers, and their sometimes funny, sometimes sad adventures on the tour as professional athletes. Yep. So it's interesting.
It does sound interesting.
So, I'm not against it. Chris Barnes is in it.
No.
So, might be worth checking out. And for $1, it's $1.
Right. All right, my last Dollar Tree one is called Vanquisher. Vengeance has never looked so good. Indeed.
Looks like Blood Rain.
This stars Sofita Saiban, and, well, she looks pretty hot. But this is from the company behind the Ong Bak franchise, The Protector, and Born to Fight. We were talking about Tony Jaa in our other video this week. So there's some of the same people involved there. I wonder if Jaa shows up in here at any point. Who knows? Operating under the codename Gunja, the female special ops agent with the Royal Thai Police is recruited to join Claire, an American CIA agent sent to track an Al-Qaeda member. The mission is called Project Vanquisher, etc., etc. I'm not going to read all that, but there is a little bit of bonus features there. Like I said, I figured that was worth picking up. Yeah.
So my last 2 have multiple films on them. So I think you'll enjoy these.
Yeah.
The first one is Toxic Shark. It's about an acid-spewing poison shark that harasses tourists.
Okay.
Also on this is Beneath the Mississippi and Croczilla.
Oh, wow.
Croczilla is interesting because it is an Asian production.
Okay.
It's a Chinese, I believe, production.
Okay.
That's interesting right there. Kind of Chinese horror film.
Yeah.
And then Beneath the Mississippi, I have already, but I can now replace it and have it not take up that much more room. So, for the price of one, I get 3.
All right. Very cool.
Probably bad films.
Have you seen the one that you have yet?
I've seen Beneath the Mississippi. It's decent.
Okay. So my last 2 are pretty big. I mean, as I said before, I think The Ender is pretty big. But this one is one that I've been sitting on for a minute. It's a series that I've been very curious about. It got very high level of buzz when it came out. And I just never got around to it. And partly because of the cost. It is a Funimation release. It's part of kind of a fractured franchise, and I picked up a spin-off called Mysteria Friends, and suddenly this became a much higher priority than it was. And this is one that I got from that one seller off of eBay that I've talked about, where I somehow managed to get one at a time over and over again. And this is Rage of Bahamut Genesis. And again, I have heard a lot of good stuff about this. I really want to see it. I'm very, very curious. And I got it for a pretty solid price. It was well worth the wait, I think. One day I will see it. And Mysteria Friends.
See, mine's even bigger. The Devil's Restaurant.
Oh, nice.
Your table awaits. look at the special features.
Mm-hmm.
A struggling restaurant manager makes a deal with the devil, who lures endless patrons into his flailing restaurant. But in return, the manager must feed the guests to a demon who lurks in the basement. Business is booming, and reviewers are glowing. That is until an unwitting waiter stumbles onto the basement. It looks like fun, but it comes with two others. Toe Tags, which is I think it's a zombie one, but it's basically, so when a record company exec is murdered, all clues point to the rock star client, Chana. But huge fans and slacker bag and tag drivers for the coroner's office, Trent and Twinkie, are not convinced. And then, of course, it comes with How to Be a Serial Killer. Now,
Of course.
How to Be a Serial Killer is a fun one. I have another copy of that, so I did get to replace it.
Didn't you show that to me at one point?
I think I did, and it's a fun film. I mean, it is. I mean, it's about a serial killing self-help guru. It's probably the best film on this set right here, and you know, it is worth having just because it's a fun movie. So, if anything, that made this well worth $1.
Nice. This last one was not $1, but it definitely was pretty good for what you get. This was also an eBay pickup. It was from a seller. It's the seller that I ordered Violet Evergarden from. Unfortunately, they were unable to fill my order for that one. So it was canceled, and I am once again without any specific plan for acquiring that limited set. But the good thing is, I did still get this at a discount because they were offering a discount. If you ordered 2 items from this list, you got, I think it was like 20% off or something. So Violet Evergarden would have been about $72. Not bad.
Yeah, definitely.
No. But I did get this Kino release that I'd been eyeing for some time on the Kino site and just never gotten around to. And I ended up getting it for less than I would have. And that is the Fritz Lang, the Silent Films collection.
Very good.
It's a very, very nice looking set here. Very nice. I know there's a book in there. I haven't actually opened it yet, but I know there's a book. Pretty decent chipboard box here. And it's a 12-disc collection, including his famed film Metropolis, along with Die Nibelungen, Spies, Dr. Mabuse the Gambler, Destiny, The Spiders, Woman in the Moon, Four Around the Woman, Harakiri, The Wandering Shadow, and The Plague of Florence, plus 32-page booklet with essay by Tom Gunning. So, essentially, this is like a Criterion set, but by Kino, and it looks pretty darn cool. And of course, Fritz Lang is considered one of the, go-to people for silent films. He was, one of the early cinema masters, as people say. And I have seen Metropolis, and it's an excellent film. I have not seen the others, so this is definitely going to be some nice little art school pickup here.
Yeah, I definitely could not beat that one on this. The my box sets aren't bad.
Oh, they're pretty cool. I'm not sure if people would say they're quite as integral to the history of cinema, but
you never know.
You never know. You never know
what we're looking at.
For some people, yes.
So, with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this pickup. click that like button, hit that subscribe, and if you haven't watched the last of our Horrorween episodes, you should, because it's going to be an entire year, less than a year really, but before we hit Horrorween again, and probably not at this level.
Well, next year, Shout's going to do a Nightmare on Elm Street release. Just you wait.
All right, now we get to. Jeez. Well, with that being said, we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.